If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, and the best is blessed, baby.
All right, gentlemen, we've been over the rules. Protect yourself at all times. Follow my instructions. Keep it clean. Touch gloves if you wish. Let's do it.
Hosted by Brotherz, the MMA Brotherz.
Good morning, good morning.
Yo, what's up, bro?
What's going on?
Nothing, chilling. Man, great night of fights last night.
Amazing night of fights.
Hey, this is one of those rare occasions where the fight card was so hyped up and it actually lived up to expectations.
Yeah, it's like I don't know how you top this one.
And some will say it may even surpass expectations with the stuff that we got last night.
Man, that was one hell of a show. From wall to wall, start to finish. Kind of like we predicted. Not a dull moment in any of those fights.
Hey, I have a feeling when it comes to the MMA awards at the end of the year, a lot of fights from this card will be award winners.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we had UFC 300 last night. Had some bangers. They gave out $300K for the bonuses. Bonuses went to Max Holloway for Fight of the Night, as well as Justin Gaethje. Then Max Holloway also got Performance of the Night, and
my boy Yuri also got a Performance of the Night too.
No, not Yuri.
Yeah.
Max got $600K, and then Poatan got $300K.
I thought Yuri got a bonus too.
He said he was going to take care of Yuri. He was going to take care of Figueiredo. He was going to take care of Kayla Harris.
Yeah, look. Performance of the Night, Yuri.
Okay.
Yeah.
Overall, amazing card. Definitely when it was over, I had that post-fight depression feeling like, oh, man, it's over. But at the same time, I couldn't ask for more.
Yeah. Oh, I watched the press conference till it was over about 2-3 in the morning. As a fight fan, thank you UFC, and yeah, Yuri got the other bonus. UFC 300 truly was a special event that lived up to the hype and then some. Best fight card in combat history. Shout out to Chris. What's up, Chris? Let's go ahead and get into it, though, bro. I got the first fight pulled up.
All right, so kicking things off, first fight of the night, we had Davidson Figueiredo and Cody Garbrandt. And what started off as a it started off kind of slow. They were kind of filling each other out. Cody still remains the fastest fighter I've ever seen. I feel like his stand up, he was actually getting the better of Figueiredo on the stand up. I remember he actually went for that little cartwheel kick
Yeah.
and got kicked in the chest. But aside from that, I felt like he really won the first round. He was connecting the cleaner shots. I feel like he actually stunned Davison like once or twice. But eventually Davison got him on the ground. He almost got him with a arm triangle. Cody was able to escape that. They went to the second round. It was more of the same. Davison got a takedown kind of early and just rode his back for a while. He took his back and got him in a nasty rear naked choke. After he fought out the first submission in the first round, I kind of started feeling like maybe he'll be able to get out of this one because that arm triangle was tight, but that rear naked was decapitating. Cody Garbrandt tapped, and you had Davison Figueiredo in his second bout at bantamweight emerging victorious.
Hey, wait. Hey, Trevor said for the hype to fight ratio, I still say UFC 100 was the best card ever. I gotta disagree with that. I say 300 was better. We'll get into that towards the end though when we talk about all the fights as a cumulative. But as far as this fight, I was disappointed in a lot of reasons. Not that it was a bad fight. I was disappointed because I had a parlay on Cody, and it always sucks when your first fight just ruined the whole ticket for the rest of the night. Also, I felt like Cody could have won this fight because he was getting with him on the stand up, and it's just when he got taken down to the ground, he defended the arm triangle, which was pretty good because it was tight, but he did a little phone booth defense, and it was pretty good. And then even when he was in the rear naked, he was able to defend it at first, but eventually, it was some hand fighting going on, and Figueiredo was able to get position. I say we do a rewatch along, retro rewatch along the UFC 100. Trevor said, but
might not be a bad idea.
yeah. Overall, very impressive for Figueiredo. He's 2-0 in bantamweight. He's climbing up the rankings to get a title shot. Cody kind of going back to the drawing board here. I mean, it wasn't like it was a big setback, but I feel like he definitely could have won this fight though.
Yeah, and especially without getting finished, like that was kind of hard to watch. I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty upset. Like I like both men, but I'm a way bigger Cody fan, and I felt like everybody was doubting him in the fight. He just couldn't get it done, man. What you think is next for Davidson?
What do you mean? What about your boy? I can't think of his Sandhagen.
That'll be interesting, but I would like to see Sandhagen go against Cheeto actually, but I know they got to do the Marab fight first.
Didn't it? You say Sandhagen against Cheeto? Rare?
Against, not Cheeto. I'm tripping against Sean O'Malley.
Oh, okay.
But I would like to see Davidson against Cheeto.
Yeah, that would be a good fight too, to be honest.
But I don't know what to say about Cody Garbrandt. Hopefully he'll come back strong. Think he got one more run in him?
I don't know if he not as far as being a title shot, getting to a title shot. I don't think so. He needed a win like this to kind of get up in the rankings. You know what I mean? So this was it was a big setback, but it wasn't like I wouldn't say a huge setback because he didn't get KO'd pretty nasty. He didn't get thrashed or whatever. He was actually winning the fight. He won the first round. So
Chris said the UFC 100 had three good things about it. It had its Belcher versus Akiyama fight of the night, Hendo epic KO of Bisping, and Brock pulling that horseshoe out of Frank Mir's ass and beat
Yep.
him over the head with it. Oh man. Next up, I'm sure you got the scores too, right?
Yeah, I gotta pull out my book, but I got him.
Okay, so the next fight, lightweight bout. We're talking about the experience these guys had. Bobby Green versus Jim Miller. That fight absolutely delivered. It played out exactly how I expected. Bobby Green was just too fast for him on the feet, kept his hands down, luring him in. Jim Miller caught him a couple of times. I remember once he caught him with a hook and had him backpedaling. Thought he rocked him again, but as the fight went on, Bobby Green started to pull away. In the second round, he opened up a cut on Jim Miller's right eye, and by the third round, it's like he just bloodied him up, pulverized him. Jim Miller surprised me. He didn't shoot any takedowns that I can remember, and I was thinking that that would definitely be his path of least resistance. But I feel like because he started having success on the feet, and he's just such a savage that he said, "All right, we'll just bang it out," and ultimately it ended up costing him. And what was a very entertaining fight. He still showed that he has the durability. At one point, Bobby Green pointed to the middle of the octagon in the last round, and kind of like lured Jim Miller into like a scrap, and they went trading, and then Jim Miller got caught, and when he got caught, I think from that point on, even though Bobby Green didn't get the finish, Jim Miller was out on his feet. Like once you saw the legs buckle, then he started backpedaling, then like he was almost ready to melt. I think that was the only. I guess you could call that a shot for the takedown.
Yeah.
But, Bobby Green could have finished him. I felt like if he would have tried a little harder. I don't know. I mean, easier for me to say, right?
Yeah.
But I felt like Bobby Green could have got that finish. Each round just got worse and worse for Jim Miller, and I was brutal.
Hey, real quick, to backtrack, I think Cody Garbrandt should face Sonya Dawn next. Figueiredo should face Corey Sandhagen. But anyway, as far as this fight, this was my ass whooping of the night right here. Bobby Green just straight up thrashed Jim Miller for all 3 rounds. In the first round, Jim Miller did rock him with a hook, and then in the second round, he rocked him once. But compared to that, Bobby Green just thrashed him, man. And the thing is, I got a coworker who don't like Bobby Green because he say he's the only guy who gets his ass whooped and still talk trash at the same time. And that's basically that's how Bobby Green fight. You know, like the whole time he getting hit, he'll tell Jim Miller, "Oh, you only hit me on the arm. You hit my elbow. You hit my forearm, or whatever." You know what I'm saying? And then he got his hands low the whole time. He just talking trash to him the whole time. You know, like whenever he hit him with a jab, "Oh, you see that? Oh, look at that! I'm coming again with another one." And he was just. I thought that was pretty entertaining the way he was just talking to him and just thrashing him for all 3 rounds. And it's like what?
I was gonna say typical Bobby Green fashion.
Yeah, and it's like he didn't really catch him with many hooks or crazy wall kicks, nothing like that. He'll just have his hands low and he'll dodge all Miller shots and then catch him with like a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. You know, just jab, and just jabbing them and just tearing the eye up or whatever. In the third round, within the last minute, I thought he dropped Jim Miller. I thought he was going to finish him. But yeah, I picked Bobby Green to win this fight. I figured he was going to piece him up. I didn't think he was going to do him like that. But yeah, and this is my ass whooping of the night right here.
Chris, this fight, Jim Miller first fighter to fight on 100, 200, and 300, and it's ironic his blood covered the canvas for the rest of the night. Christopher lined those top 3 against the top 3 moments of this card. The only dub was Alves versus GSP. I thought 300 was great, just slightly below 100. This card had way more moments. Hey, one thing I want to point out about Bobby Green is a lot of times what he was doing or what he does is he lures your attack out. I feel like, I mean, he draws your attack out. I feel like that's part of his game plan. That's why he keep his hands low and rely on the reflexes and the movement. I was saying last night how I don't know how well that style is going to age, considering that once you get older, they say your reflexes are the first thing to go, and your speed. And he relies on a lot of that, but he's like the best at it. He always make it entertaining. Never seen a boring Bobby Green fight, and a lot of times he would lure your attack out by keeping those hands low, and sometimes he'll take like a step back to make you come forward, and then he'll stop dead in his tracks and throw like a jab or like a push kick and a jab right behind it from the same side. It was pretty amazing to watch.
So bro, who do you think Bobby Green should fight next?
I don't know.
What about Matt Favola, ranked at number 15?
That would actually be fun.
Renato Moicano, ranked number 13 last night. He's gonna get bumped up a little bit.
That would be fun too.
And you got Rafael Dos Anjos, ranked number 12.
Renato would take him down.
Yeah,
put more effort into it.
Rafael Dos Anjos.
I say Moicano.
All right.
Moicano. And Jim Miller, it's like you don't really care what he does next. You just know you're going to tune in.
Yeah.
So following that, we had a women's strawweight bout. Jessica Andrade, former UFC strawweight champ, versus Marina Rodriguez. How did you have this fight going?
Coming into the fight, I thought Andrade would be able to probably put her out or at least beat her up real good. It was kind of I ain't gonna say she beat her real bad or whatever, but I would say that she definitely was catching her with some heavy shots, and she was also getting pieced up too. But it became very apparent she had the one method of victory, and that was to just shoot in and catch her with some hooks or something like that. She got caught lunging a couple times, but overall, I felt like she did do enough to win the fight, though. She did get some takedowns and got a little bit of ground and pound in, so I was pretty happy for her.
She got some takedowns and she got some ground and pound, but I felt like for the most part, Rodriguez was able to avoid a lot of her walking forward and throwing heavy shots and countering her own. She got stung up quite a bit in that fight, and I actually felt like Marina Rodriguez won that fight. I did start to watch it again, but I didn't finish it. And I can tell you too that I was sitting next to somebody who we actually like took a little side bet on this fight, and then after it was over, he felt like he lost because he picked Jessica Andrade. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then when they raised Jessica's hand, he was like, "Oh man, like I thought I lost that." So I agreed with him. I felt like Marina Rodriguez did a little more, but Jessica Andrade starting to put together another win streak, and she looks massive at 125. I think she should stay here.
Yeah.
Only female in UFC history to have victories in 3 different weight classes.
I think she's the only female to have a stum KO victory too. Don't quote me on that, but I think she is.
I'm pretty sure she is too.
Only one I ever seen.
And you watch all them women's MMA, don't you?
Yeah. By the way, who was that against, bro?
It was against Rose Namajunas.
Oh yeah.
Vicious, nasty slam KO, dropped her right on the neck.
All right. So Andrade, this is strawweight. Where do you think Andrade goes from here, bro?
I don't know. Probably give her one more and then see if she can be in contention for the title. I would like to see her run it back with Lemos, but I feel like she wouldn't want to do that because she beat her. So
she said she want to get that rematch back against Lee real bad.
Yeah,
You know what she should. You know what she should fight in that? She should fight Brianna Gingerova,
yeah, that would be interesting.
so she can knock her out for me.
You want to get back for Loopy.
Yep, basically,
Hey, but when these two stand next to each other, it's like,
it's crazy.
yeah, you see 115 like in two different packages. One is short and stocky, and the other one is long and lanky and real thin.
Hey, the thing I like about her on draws is you know what she gonna do, but you just can't stop it though.
Right. Press forward with the hook. She remind me of Angela Silva.
Yeah,
At one point, though, I will say this: I did think Andrade was going to get this fight stopped with ground and pound elbows,
yeah.
but
I just think at the end of the day she did more damage though. You know.
yeah, I hear you. Chris said this fight
Yeah.
was a little disappointing. Thought was going to get a KO, but felt like they played it safe. Next up, I was very disappointed in this fight because of the results, not necessarily the fight itself. Jalen Turner did some things that kind of bothered me, but I'm sure it bothers him way more this morning because he literally snatched defeat from the jaws of victory.
Wow.
Versus Hanato and Moicano, Chris is absolutely right. Jalen Turner blew it. He fight starts off. He's looking real crisp on his feet. Moicano gets in, gets a takedown. It starts to be evident that he could probably land prey on him. I would give the first round to Moicano. Jalen Turner was able to get up twice, but he got put right back down. Had to fight off some submissions. Second round starts. He comes out and he cracks Moicano nasty. Drops him. Moicano was definitely out, and well, he was there to be finished. Put it that way. And instead of dropping down with hammer fist, Jalen Turner walks away as if he thought he was getting a walk-off knockout. And then the very next the round ended up ending like not long after that. And the very next round, he got submitted. I feel like that kind of broke him. You could tell when he was walking away, he looked like he wanted to complain to Herb Dean, but it's like he kept it to himself. I guess he was trying to keep his head.
Wait, it wasn't a submission. It was a TKO.
Was it? I remember.
Yeah. The referee stopped the fight because he got grounded and pounded out.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I really don't have too much more to say. Like, I hate seeing this because I'm not going to the whole spiel, but you train so hard. You know, you in the 8-fight-week camp or 8-week camp or whatever, however many weeks they do, and you train so hard and you get the moment and you just walk away from it. You know, and I just feel real bad for Jalen Turner, man. I feel real bad for. I know he feel worse, but he had him knocked out, and he could have finished him too, and this would have been epic for him, you know, because when Kano was on a little streak, he got a little following behind him, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So if he would have did that to him, that would have put more stock into Jalen Turner coming off a Bobby Green knockout, you know. So, but Jalen Turner, you just got to work on your ground game. If he can elevate his ground game or takedown defense, then he'll be in the upper echelon of the division, in my opinion. Because his stand up is already nasty. It's sick.
I feel like Gamrot kind of laid the blueprint for him.
Yes, he got to go to the drawing board and work on that takedown defense and learn how to get up and not be so complacent on the ground. You know, as soon as your back hit the floor, it's hot lava. You got to get right back up.
People complain about the shots that they consider extra or unnecessary or just overkill, but at the same time, that's
so the referee started the fight. You can't. Yeah.
That's what cost him this fight. Him not going for the kill, wanting to get a walk-off KO just because they look good. You can't assume the ref is going to stop the fight. You always got to go for it. And Hanato Moicano, Money Moicano, is gold on the mic. He is
Yeah.
gold on the mic. So next up, in
Shout
the
out to Thinking
featherweight
Black,
division.
wherever you at.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Thinking Black because your boy Diego Lopez cut through Sadiq Yusuf like a hot knife through butter. No one has ever ran through Sadiq Yusuf like that. He will have a number by his name by Tuesday, and he did call out Mavsor Ivloyev. I feel like he put on display what I was saying yesterday, how when he drops you, he chases the submission so fast. And I feel like people are seeing him as a more dual threat now as opposed to just a submission guy. Because
Yeah.
that's 2 fights in a row that he pretty much could have picked his poison. Do I want to submit or knock this guy out? Because he had him hurt on the feet. He dropped him twice. And after the first time he dropped him, he rushed in and looked like he was trying to get a Darce. But good defense by Sadiq Yusuf. And I feel like Diego Lopez just saw, I'm going to have to work for this Darce. I'm going to just go ahead and pound him out. And so he pounded him a little bit. Yusuf was able to scramble back up to his feet, and then he got dropped again. And then Diego Lopez just rained down punches while he was on top of him, and that was pretty much it.
Sadiq Yusuf last two fights was the main event against Joe Piper and then against Barbosa. Neither one of those guys, he didn't even come close to doing what Diego Lopez just did. You know, like Chris said, this emo kid is next up. He nasty and slick and smooth like butter. The way he ran through Sadiq Yusuf, I'd never seen this done before, and he might have just broke him. You know, honestly, because he just thrashed him. You know, and at this point, so far at the card, at this point, this was knockout of the night, or performance of the night so far.
Yeah, it was. It really was. Um, as you can see, he finished him in under a minute and 30. Diego Lopez called out Mavsor Ivloyev. I like that because he's trying to avenge the one loss that he has in the UFC. That was on his debut. So now that he's in the top 10, top 15, I can see them possibly making that fight, or they might make him wait one more.
Yeah, but,
But
but Evil Love is not ranked number 5 though, and he gonna be like in the top, you know, probably 13, 14, and 15. So
yeah,
I don't know if they'll do that yet. How about give him Dan Ige at number 12? There you go.
that'd be nice. But I think they would give him Ivloyev just because he fought him once already, or they might try to build it depending on how that division play out. But
Well, I think the thing is, you see, if not one, both of these guys getting the belt. So I think they're gonna hold that off and do that as a title rematch or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
kind of like Cheeto and
Yeah, so that we
O'Malley.
can build some story. But you already know who the featherweight king is, so ain't neither one of these guys. Ain't neither one of these guys.
He actually
Getting a,
called him out too.
yeah, you don't want that smoke, man.
I
Listen,
don't know, man.
to all y'all 145ers out there, y'all may think y'all want it, but y'all don't want it with the king Ilya Tapora. Because he will put anybody to sleep. He'll thrash anybody. I don't see nobody taking that belt for like the next couple of years. So
Yeah, we're gonna see about that.
we will see.
We're gonna revisit that later on in the card.
Yeah.
So next up, we had former bantamweight champion Holly Holm versus Kayla Harrison, the two-time Olympic gold medalist. Judoka Holly Holm came out. She kind of threw me off a little bit because she initiated the first clinch, and she actually tried to take Kayla Harrison down. I believe she did take her down, and Kayla Harrison just reversed her, got on top of her, started hitting her with some nasty elbows, really good ground and pound. You can tell she was excited to use those elbows. I knew that they would probably come into play. And then in the second round, she didn't look like she gassed herself out. She was able to get a sub at a minute and 47. That was another nasty choke. I felt like she was also in a position where she could have picked up poison. Did she want to pound her out? Did she want to submit her? Kayla Harrison, successful in her debut in a very impressive fashion. And I think the sky is the limit for her. She looked good at the weight class. That was one of my main concerns. Wondering how she would perform after cutting all that weight. And looked like she held up.
Yeah, this is kind of
You also called out Ilya in Spain, bro.
yeah. He don't want that smoke.
Off
I
Max.
told you.
Max. Huh?
Well, hey, we'll get there. We'll get there. Holly looked like a sacrificial lamb. Yeah, she did. Holly didn't really look too good in this fight, man. Dana White said he thinks she should retire.
Yeah, he said he like to retire.
So basically, what that means is he's going to feed her to the wolves until her fight contract is up, and then she'll go to PFL.
I hope she goes down red down. She already a Hall of Famer in 3 sports, like
What 3? Kickboxing, UFC, and what else?
boxing.
Okay. I was nervous for this fight because I thought, I wanted Holly Holm to win, but she makes me nervous, man. Just from the time she hits the curtain to the time that the fight starts, she's nonstop moving, pacing, just giving me anxiety, man. Like it's crazy. But Kayla Harrison did what she was supposed to do. She took her down. She got the submission in the second round. And Holly Holm tapped real quick too once she sunk that choke in. She tapped real quick. Like she didn't want no more at all. But shout out to Kayla Harrison. I don't know what I see her doing next. I feel like they're gonna try to bump her up and give her that title shot. Amanda Nunez definitely got her eyes on her because she texted Dana White and said interesting with the eyes emojis. So she looking out after her. So it'll be interesting to see what they do next with Kayla Harrison. I feel like maybe she can fight somebody like Macy Chason. She's ranked number 6. I feel like that'd be a good fight for her. Even like somebody like Misha Tate, she ranked number 7. Either one of those fights would be good. Chris said Kayla Harrison is going to be head of that division. Might even bring Amanda out of retirement. That bitch is special. Yeah, she is. I would like to see her versus Amanda Nunez. Bring Amanda out of retirement. That'd be a major title fight. I definitely feel like she can fight Raquel Pennington like right now and beat her and take that belt. So I think Kayla Harrison is definitely going to be a future champion in the UFC. And I feel like she's going to hold a belt for a little bit until she fights Amanda Nunez. Chill, leave cupcake out of it. Yeah. All right. So, and also, too, like my brother said, that was the first time she was able to use elbows because in PFL, elbows are illegal. So she definitely took advantage of that. And she was tagging Holly with some nasty, nasty elbows. So I'm pretty sure she liked the use of elbows. All right. So in the next fight, we had the featherweight debut of Aljo Funkmaster Sterling against Boston's own Calvin Kattar. This was the most boring fight of the night. Not that it was a really boring fight, but just the most least eventful fight, I would say, of the night. Aljo was able to find some takedowns. He was able to just kind of hold him down, do some lay and pray, some ground and pound a little bit. But like I said, this was the least eventful fight of the card. Boring. I see her beating Raquel or Juliana. Yeah. I only see nobody touching Kayla in that division. And yeah, this fight would be considered kind of boring. You had the crowd booing a little bit and everything like that. But Aljo was able to get the victory. He beat the number 8 guy in the featherweight division. So I see him maybe getting maybe 2 more fights. If you like technical fight, here you go. Yeah, yeah, it was a technical ground lay and pray kind of fight. I would say Calvin Kattar wasn't able to utilize his boxing. He was getting kind of taken down more as the fight went on more and more. He was able to get taken down a lot easier. So that's what Aljo does. I'm happy he's out of the division. Yeah, not many people like Aljo. Uh, he is not the most liked UFC fighter, definitely. I would say. Um,
I I would say it. I was impressed with Aljo. I know he got a lot of haters. I'm a big fan. I was really impressed with him. Um, I felt like for him to they say he actually walks around at 170, which is crazy to me because how were you ever making 135 if that's the case? But I felt like it was impressive for him to step up to a new weight class and be able to implement his game plan. The striking actually looked good too early. And then I think once he started getting the takedowns, it froze Calvin Kattar up. He was too worried about getting taken down. I don't think Calvin Kattar expected him to be able to get him to the ground like that. He fought the takedowns very well at first, but as the fight went on, Aljamain Sterling was able to take him down earlier in each round, control him, and it wouldn't be his first and second attempt. It would be pretty much he would get to a position where he could actually grab a hold of him, and then he would work different techniques to try to like take him down in sections. Maybe only once or twice where he just actually. I remember one time he got the single leg and did what they call ran the pipe and just sat him down. I was impressed that he was able to do that to a bigger man, coming up to a new weight class after suffering a knockout in his last fight. Fight to secure the victory. I feel like it probably built some confidence, and I'm really interested to see what happens next. This featherweight division just got crazy.
all right, so
Got crazy.
Chris said opens up the opportunity for Rob at bantamweight, and what does Aljo do next? So I'm looking at the division now. Bruce Leroy is ranked number 15. Deron Murphy got a fight coming up. Sadiq Youssef just came off a knockout loss. They can feed him to Aljo.
Nah, you going way too low, buddy. Give him Umar.
I'm going to give him Bryce Neutral at number 10.
Nah, give him Umar. He was number 2. Came in as a former champion. Give him Umar.
Umar Nurmagomedov?
Yeah, man. Run that.
Y'all got him right here.
Yeah, but they've been trying to get him to fight Corey Sandhagen.
Yeah. All right, yeah. That's actually pretty good.
Wait. I'm still thinking about the
Bantamweight
class. Yeah.
Yeah, featherweight. So Arnold Allen? We said the same thing. There you go, right there.
Or Marco Ivloyev. One of those two.
Yeah, because you kind of want to bump him up the division. I feel you. You got anything else on this fight, bro?
Nothing except for I feel like Calvin Kattar, that loss didn't do him any favors. I feel like suffering that loss kind of left him stuck in this category where he'll be a top 10 guy, but never like a top 2 or 3 guy.
And let me ask you a question, because I noticed he did seem bigger than Aljo. Do you think that he kind of came into this fight a little too confident that, Aljo can't take me down because I'm bigger than him?
Possibly. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, he looked like he was shocked that I think Aljo was probably stronger than he thought, and he was shocked that he was able to get taken down, especially after he fought off the first couple so good. And I think it was very evident that he was faster. I think the speed definitely gave him some problems on the feet because Calvin Kattar is definitely the more technical, fundamental striker as a boxer, but Aljo is just doing funky stuff. Like they call him the Funk Master for a reason. He got this kind of weird style about him. I feel like he's probably way more opposing when you're actually in the octagon with him as opposed to when you're just watching tape.
Yeah. All right.
And not to mention, he is very well coached. Huge fan of Ray Longo.
Oh yeah. Punch a hole through his chest.
Yep. So next up in the final prelim of the night, oh man, fireworks. This was definitely, I would say, it deserved fight of the night. Yuri Prochazka versus Alexander Rakic. Yuri Prochazka, another former champion. This fight was back and forth, man. And,
Yeah.
And Yuri, it showed exactly what I was saying yesterday, that Alexander Rakic could beat him because he was the more technical, crisp, precise puncher, and Yuri Prochazka leaves himself exposed to get hit a lot. Rakic was destroying those legs, the calf kicks. Yuri just ate him, walked through fire and brimstone, and delivered a pretty nasty knockout. Rakic caught him with a couple of head kicks. It was just trading back and forth. There was a couple of times where you thought, okay, Yuri is probably going to get knocked out. But he just showed unbreakable will and determination. He's just so awkward. He kept it pressure on Rakic. They were trading a couple of times, and it's like, even though Rakic was catching them with some clean, powerful shots, when Yuri hit Alexander, you can definitely tell the difference, because I feel like his punches were affecting him more. Made him give up real estate almost every time he landed, as opposed to when Rakic landed on Yuri, Yuri just walked straight through it like a zombie. It had to be an intimidating thing to see, because he was getting caught clean with some nasty punches, and the leg kicks were just brutal. And somehow he managed to clip Rakic one time, and when he did it, you saw his legs buckle, and he stayed in it for a while. I thought he was going to go down. And one thing about him, kind of like Jim Miller, no matter how hurt he was, Rakic I'm speaking of, he stayed dangerous. So
Yeah.
you saw the end was coming, and you saw the writing on the wall. He was still firing back heavy shots, but it just wasn't enough to keep Yuri off of him. Yuri looked like he was undeniable that night. You weren't going to break him. He wasn't leaving that octagon without a victory. And he said he won his title back. Damn it.
Yeah, bro. Like, I don't know in what order he is, but he's definitely in my top 3 favorite fighters in martial arts right now. And I'm not gonna lie, I was offended for him when Rocket said that he's a fake samurai. You feel me? That was
Right.
very offensive, and it's like he never said he was a samurai. It's us who give him that samurai label. He just
Right.
lives that lifestyle, and he lives by that code. You know.
Right.
So when Rocket said that, it pissed him off. And it gave him motivation. And it's like when you look into his eyes, bro, you just see danger. It's like,
Absolutely.
bro, the way he walked forward and the way he was eating these shots, because I ain't gonna lie, you saw me, bro. I was pretty quiet for the first little bit of this fight. For the first half of this fight, I was sitting there real quiet, man, twiddling with my thumbs or whatever, because Rocket was tagging him, and he was catching them, and he was eating some nasty head kicks. And Rocket is pretty big, right? He's I don't know. I would like to know what he walked around at, because I know he cuts down at least 20 pounds to get to 205. Man, he's pretty huge. But Yuri just got that dog in him, and he was able to just walk down and just eat every single shot. His leg was getting tore up. His leg was getting tagged, so he was eating shots to the face and to the leg. He just walked through fire, and he just came through it, and he caught him nasty, and he put him out. But this was Rockets don't really lose much stock in my opinion, because like Chris was saying, I thought he would have ring rust. Chris said I thought Rockets was going to have ring rust. He definitely didn't have any ring rust whatsoever. and Yuri the samurai for hot skill. But Marquez looked real good in this fight, man. He don't really lose much stock in my opinion because he brought it and he showed that if it was anybody else, like anybody else, he would have put him out. But it's Yuri, so um, he definitely deserved the performance of the night.
He
I would
really
like to
did.
see, yeah, I would like to see Yuri probably get another title shot. I'm not really sure what Fulton got lined up next. I don't want to see him go to heavyweight, so you know.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
either, and I'm glad Dana said he didn't want to see that either.
yeah, it's a little too much. It's getting a little too crazy with it. But I would say I guess Fulton should fight Uncle Lyle next, and then maybe Khalil Roundtree versus Yuri, and then the winner of that you can get a title shot. You want to see some new blood. Walker just came off a knockout loss, and Nikita Krylov ain't really doing much. So that's what I would do. I would do Yuri versus Roundtree. Winner of that fights the winner of Fulton versus Ankalaya. Because I don't like Ankalaya. I think he's boring.
Hey, so once this fight happened, uh, I believe somebody texted me later on in the fight. I mean, later on in the card after the Max Holloway fight. Everything else after this is a bonus. That's how I felt about this fight. I felt
Yeah,
like everything after this fight was definitely a bonus.
bro.
What
It
a
was
way to end the prelims and start off the main card.
it was crazy. I was jumping out my skin for after this fight, and then you looked at me, put your hand on my shoulder, and said, "Bro, we still got the main card left." I'm like, "Oh my goodness!"
yeah. And the
Like,
fight went
damn.
on. I'm like, all right, I guess it's time for the main card now. That was
Yeah,
definitely that had fight of the year candidate for as long as it lasts.
bro.
As long
I
as
like
it
the fact
lasted.
that throughout the whole card, the energy was just high, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you know,
And one thing you noticed from the very first walkout of Cody Garbrandt, the crowd was in full effect.
yeah,
Crowd was in full effect. Nobody straggling in late and filling up the arena late. Everybody was there. Everybody was ready. And for a fight town like Vegas, that just shows you the expectations that was put on this card. This was the fight of the night till the main card. That's what Chris said. He said he thought Rock.
yeah,
Yeah, the ring rust. Yeah, and he was very humble in victory too. I always like to see that.
yeah,
So next up, we had Bo Nickel versus Cody Brundage. Cody Brundage gave Bo Nickel his toughest test, but it still wasn't good enough because he got submitted in the second round. Brundage is the best wrestler Bo has faced. He got 10 more fights than him, so he definitely had the experience, but it just wasn't enough. Cody Garbrandt, Bo Nickel. I'm still upset about the Cody Garbrandt fight. 'Cause, I started off, I said, all right, let me put a little money on Cody, and then he lost. And then one of my parlays got busted and with Jalen Turner. And so that just left a nasty taste in my mouth for the rest of the night.
yeah. Like I
The
said,
Nickel,
bro, I did a big parlay, and the first fight was Cody Garbrandt. So once that went through, I'm like, man, it's one of those nights, you know.
yeah, you got to believe. Well, Bo knows winning. And he definitely pulled this one out. Cody Brundage was all defense from the ground in the first round. He came out. I feel like he came out with some nervous energy or just a little too much
You talking
adrenaline
about
because he was
you
throwing
talking about you talking about Bo or
Brundage.
Cody?
Brundage.
Okay.
He was throwing some wild strikes, like something that's not really him. You get what I'm saying? And then they traded a couple of times, and even Bo Nickel, for what it's worth, I don't think he get enough credit for his hands.
Yeah, I know,
He has
bro.
very crisp and powerful strikes. Like you don't give
And
him enough
bro,
credit
the
for his
thing
hands.
is, he got a chance too because he remember he got cracked by Val Woodburn clean, And Cody cracked him in this fight too in the first round. He cracked him.
Yeah, so it was good to see him face some adversity. And then as hard as he was on himself after the fight with a second round sub, that's how you know that he's a true competitor. And he got the mindset of a champion.
Yeah. This fight played out the way it was supposed to play out. Basically, I did put a little bet in on Cody just because how can you not with those numbers? You know, I didn't really expect him to win, but um, Bo Nickel, man, middleweight contender. It's time for him to face a ranked opponent, in my opinion. I would say Paul Craig, but Paul Craig got a fight coming up. Uh, Anthony Hernandez got a fight coming up. I would like to see him face Jack Hermanson. How about that one?
That would be cool. That would be a good one. Or Marvin Vittori even.
Marvin Vittori, yeah, yeah. I feel like that's a little bit too much for him, but who knows? Maybe not. Because the thing is, his last two fights he got cracked, bro. You feel me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. He gotta sharpen his stand up defense a little bit. So I think Jack Hermanson will be a good fight for him. That could be a main event fight night.
As competitive as I think he is, he's probably in the gym right now.
Yeah. I do know. I think he is an avid fisherman, so I do know after most fights he go fish.
So next up, in the lightweight division, we had Charles Dubrance Oliveira versus Armin Sarukian. Oliveira kind of disappointed me. I feel like he is too comfortable off his back. It was a split decision. He trusted in his jiu-jitsu too much, so he's kind of comfortable off of his back. I will say, this was I could see how judges would have given it to Charles Oliveira, but when I was watching it, I thought Armin Sarukian definitely won the fight. He didn't do a lot of damage from on top. Well, he did cut him open with the elbows, but for the most part, Charles Oliveira was very defensively responsible when Armin was in his guard. And after the first round, he had a Darce that I thought he was going to get and secure a victory. At one point, I thought Armin Sarukian actually went out, but he didn't. I don't know if he was saved by the bell or if Charles was just trying to. It looked like he was saved by the bell, though. But I mean, at the same time, he wasn't struggling. But I feel like that Darce is only going to get deeper.
Hey, shout out to Chris. Armin, he said Armin 2-piece and fed on his entrance to the ring. That was funny as hell to me, bro.
Yeah, it was. Armin proved that he isn't afraid to go to the ground with anybody. Like I was saying yesterday, usually when Charles Oliveira gets dropped and he falls down, people tend to just back up and let him up because they don't want to jump into his guard. But at the same time, the people who do jump into his guard have finished him. So that was pretty much exactly what it was. Armin Sarukian wasn't afraid to. He was actually initiating the takedowns, but it's because I feel like Charles was outgunning him on the feet. It was very clear. Charles was the more powerful, crisp, technical striker. He got a more varied attack. Moved to the second round. The second round was more of Armin taking him down and being caught in the guard. Charles Oliveira ended every single round with a close submission attempt. I feel like when the fight ended, I can't remember the choke he had.
It was a Darce. I think that's what he had at the end of the fight.
Yeah, you're right. So in the first round, it was a guillotine.
It was a guillotine, yeah.
And we all know Charles got some nasty guillotines.
Yeah, when the fight started within like the first, I think 40 seconds, Charles caught him in the guillotine. I don't remember how he got it, but it was pretty tight. And Sarukian was able to pop his head through. And like my brother said, I feel like Charles is just a little too comfortable off his back. If you was going against somebody like Bobby Green or somebody like that, that would be okay because he don't have the wrestling prowess that Sarukian have. But against somebody like Sarukian, you can't be so comfortable off your back and in your guard so much, you know. Um, Granted, he doesn't have the kind of guard where he's comfortable. He's still looking for submissions, but at the same time, that doesn't win you points on if you don't finish the person, you know. So if you don't get that submission, then basically to the judge's eye, that person just controlled you for the whole round or for the duration of however long you're on the ground.
Right.
Um, but Sarukian was catching him with some nasty elbows though, and they cut him open, I believe, in the second round, and that definitely helped sway the judges to his favor. I had to fight for Armin too. I'm not a fan of him, not really, but uh, I feel like he does have a chance against Islam Makhachev. So I'll like to see what happens with that. Chris at F Armin, good for him. I guess he got the next title shot after Dustin Poirier. Most likely will be the Saudi card. Lines up, makes sense too.
Yeah, lightweight is just stacked. That's another division where it's a lot of guys that's gonna finish their career without being champion just because they fought at the same time as some of the other lightweight greats. Lightweight has for a while now, in my opinion, been the best division in the UFC. I feel like bantamweight is creeping up to it, or maybe has surpassed it. But talent wise, top 10 wise, they all can beat each other, and either one of them can be champion on any given night. That's what makes that division so fun. Charles Du Bronx, I don't know where he goes from here.
I can tell you, bro. He can fight either number 5, Matas Gamrot. He could fight number 8, Rafael Fiziev when he come back from injury, or number 9, Dan Hooker. Hell, even give him number 10, Jalen Turner, however you want to do it.
That's a huge fall from grace.
Not really, because he number 2, he already fought. He number 1. He fought Gaethje at number 2. He fought Poirier at number 3, and Poirier got a title fight. He just fought the number 4 guy, Mataj Gamrot at number 5. He fought number 6, Michael Chandler, and he fought number 7, Darush.
So he done did it all. Then he might as well retire.
Not yet. I like to see like a little bit more Du Bronx in my life, man, before he retires.
Yeah, and keep in mind he's still very young. He's been around forever.
He had a long career though.
And sometimes it's not about your age; it's about the mileage you put on that body.
Yeah, bro. I remember when he was scrawny and getting finished by body kicks by like Anthony Pettis and Donald Cerrone.
Yeah, and then I remember Paul Felder jumping in his guard and smashing him with elbows. I remember Max Holloway choking him out against the cage.
Oh man!
Speaking of Max Holloway,
woo!
Max Holloway versus Justin Gaethje for the BMF title had one of the biggest moments in UFC history.
Top 5 moment.
Max Holloway got that leg destroyed, and just like Yuri, he ate it, kept walking through it. Only difference is you wouldn't be able to tell, aside from the redness and the swelling on his calf, that his leg was toast because he kept the same bounce on it. He was obviously faster. Max put on a little bit of size, so I feel like the power definitely translated. He's not a knockout puncher, but maybe he is at 45. Who knows? I mean, at 55, who knows? But his second trip to lightweight was a success. There were 2 eye pokes in the fight. I feel like Max was winning the fight. Despite that, the eye pokes really do suck, and especially for it to happen to Gaethje, who was just saying how the UFC gloves suck and how they should get, if they're not going to go with Trevor's gloves, Trevor Whitman, that is, then at least get some different gloves that curve your fingers naturally and make them want to create a fist. So for him to suffer those 2 eye pokes, which were pretty significant, kind of sucked. But when that nose got broken, it got real. You could tell Gaethje had way more power. He actually dropped Max. So Max is officially
Whoa, bro. According to last night after the press conference, the UFC official stats recorded that as a slippage and not a knockdown.
Oh wow, really?
Yep, officially.
So technically, he's never been knocked down still.
Never been knocked down.
But
Max was happy as hell too. And they asked Max. They said, "Well, what do you feel about that?" He just started laughing. He said, "I'm not going to complain. It was a drop, I guess." He got knocked down. Really, he got knocked
he
down.
did. He did. He definitely did. It was a short overhand that caught him right in the temple.
Yeah.
And some of the bombs he got hit with, you thought Gaethje was gonna go ahead and put him away. I feel like it was 4 rounds to 1 going into the 5th, and just like when he fought Ricardo Lamas, we got to talk about Justin Gaethje's nose. That thing was definitely broken, and they were trying
Yeah. Hey, thank God he didn't try to blow his nose though.
Yeah, that would have stopped the fight. But one of the most brutal knockouts I've seen, definitely knockout of the year so far, in my humble opinion. 10 seconds left. Max Holloway does his thing, like points to the middle of the octagon and said, "Let's just war it out." Of course, Justin Gaethje, being the guy that he is, he's not gonna turn down a war. And on top of that, I'm sure he saw Ricardo Lamas versus Max Holloway, so he saw what they did when Max Holloway did that. Meaning, when I say that, he knew Holloway wasn't just bluffing and wasn't going to stand and trade with him. He knew that, like, when he pointed to the middle and said, "Let's do this," he knew exactly what time it was, and he knew Max was about that life, basically. Like they both were. It was just 2 Rams colliding. And with 1 second left, Holloway catches Gaethje with a nasty hook, made him face plant, hit his looked like he almost hit his face on his own knee, and he was out cold for about 2 minutes. And it was the greatest moment of the night. It was the greatest moment of the year. It was knockout of the year. So far up to this point, it's going to be really hard for anybody to top that, especially considering Max was the underdog. He was up a weight class. He's not a knockout artist. And he just looked like he was going to be undeterred this night. He showed up to fight. He looked way better than he did in his original 155 debut. And the sky's the limit for him, I feel like. He could fight Topuria. He would definitely be a threat to that belt. Or he could fight Makhachev, but I don't want to see that.
No, we don't need to see him fight Makhachev.
And plus, lightweight is already kind of jammed up.
Exactly. Listen, bro, this is like moment of the year for me, bro. Like this was insane. I mean, I know Justin Gaethje got eye poked twice, but Max was beating him pretty bad anyway. Although the eye pokes were significant, I don't think they played a factor in this fight. All our Chris Weidman and Bruno Silva. You know what I'm saying? You know, Max he just came in on a different level tonight, and we all, bro, everybody, me, you, Vic, Chris, my coworkers, everybody. When this fight got announced, we all said, "Damn, Max might get put out on this fight because that power." You know what I'm saying? Because we've seen what happened when he went up against Poirier at 155. That power was just too much for him, you know. So we all thought
he also didn't have the time to put the weight on properly for that fight.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you who was supposed to fight Poirier that night, because somebody told me that Max replaced somebody else for that fight. I don't remember who he replaced.
It was supposed to be Khabib.
Oh, yeah, look at him, Khabib pulling out another fight, man. It was a trend. But
So
anyway,
Chris said this fight was and is everything you want to see in the fight. What a treat. I can't believe how much this fight lived up to and succeeded all expectations. Instantly a Hall of Fame fight. But Justin Gaethje and Max, amazing. I see why they never let put Ilya against Max. It's to protect him. BMF moment when Max pointed at the ground at the 10-second clap and they banged it out. Definitely BMF moment.
yeah,
Just
bro,
that
this
mo-
is
Go ahead.
go ahead. No, this is what the BMF is about. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's about two guys who aren't scared to put it all on the line. Two guys who aren't scared to take chances, and two guys who are gladiators and just gonna leave everything in the octagon. You know what I mean? They're not gonna play it safe. You know, we already know what Max is about. We know about what Justin Gaethje is about. He got death before dishonor tattooed on him, and he lives by that code. You know, this was definitely knockout of the year. Um, Man, Gaethje was on the floor for a minute too after that knockout, like not moving. Man, he was on the floor for a minute. So this was very fitting. I was very impressed with Max. We didn't see this happening. Keep in mind now, this is coming off a knockout off the Korean Zombie, which a lot of us kind of just kind of slept on that because it's the Korean Zombie and he was in his career and everything like that. But the fight before that, he beat Arnold Allen too, who was undefeated at the time, you know. So
Right.
I mean, Max, he's just when we thought he was done. Volkanovski losing the belt was one of the best things that could ever happen to Max. Um, yeah, I hope you guys are keeping it forward for the end of the year awards. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but as much, I don't want to take nothing away from Max. I don't want to do this right now, but I got to do it anyway. As impressive as this was for Max, and as cool as the blessed express is and everything like that, his moment was last night. He does not want to face El Matador. You know what I'm saying? Because Ilya will just destroy him just the way he did Volkanovski. You feel me, bro? Nobody wants to see Ilya for the next 2 years. I don't care if it's Max. I don't care who it is. Nobody wants to see Ilya. So I would love to see that fight. Put it in Spain. Put it in Hawaii, which they said Dana said he's not going to do because they ain't got the venue for it. But
Right.
Ilya, I still take Ilya, man. Ilya is a 145-pound king. He's not losing that belt for the next 2 years. I don't care who you put in front of him. He's not losing that belt, straight up.
And you really feel that way, don't you?
Yeah, on my heart of heart. I got the courage of my conviction, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Yeah, I feel like Holloway can definitely beat anybody. You said everybody thought it was over for him. Well, not everybody because I already knew. Like I always say, how do you get a title shot in the featherweight division? Oh, you don't fight Max Holloway.
Yeah, that's true. I give you that. And one thing I can say, I'm the biggest Ilya fan. I'm the bus driver for his bandwagon and everything. I didn't like the fact that after he won the belt, he was saying that, oh, Max don't deserve a title shot, this, that, the other. How can you say that when Max is the featherweight GOAT? One of anyway, him and Volkanovski. So, but now after Max knocked him out, you seen that shot at Taporia, he had that look on his face like he didn't see that coming. You feel me?
Yeah, he
But
did. And he was
but
thinking about his words right there.
yeah. So then at the press conference, I believe they told Max, they was like, yeah, Ilya said he can't deny you now. Like, Ilya, he can't deny that, but he got to fight Max now. You feel me? So that's the fight they made. There is no Max going to stand at 155 and doing. There is no need, bro. Just fight Ilya, and then we'll take it from there. You know. And one thing I can say though, I think Max will be a lot. I know he's a lot taller. I just don't know how long his arms are, so I don't know if he would have how much of a reach advantage he will have against Ilya.
Right.
But that would be something very interesting too, because Max, he loved to stay at the end of his jabs and whatnot, and Ilya will have to find his way in to get that hook in.
But he always does. And, he lead with the body shots, get you a corner, lead with the body shots, and come up to the head. Max is hittable too, so
Bro,
he
listen,
could do it. It would be an epic fight.
the last two fights in the featherweight division, or the last two fights, as far as Ilya beating Volkanovski and Max beating Max beating Gaethje was the best thing that could happen for the featherweight division. By far, that was the best thing that could have happened.
Yeah, because you have Volkanovski, who was the champ, who beat Max 3 times, and then so Max is still, after he lost his belt, still fighting these other guys like he was defending his belt, still fighting the top guys. You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
nobody, it's just a puzzle nobody can figure out. And shout out to Justin Gaethje. I always like to see people win with humility and class.
Even during the press conference when Dana was talking, Max was on the phone with Justin Gaethje.
Right. Because it takes two to tango, and he had the perfect dance partner.
Chris said, "Gotta love how Max has 3 choices right now. He can get the title at 145, at 155, or defend the BMF."
Yeah, I feel like they should do title versus title.
BMF, put the BMF and put the featherweight title on the line.
Yeah.
It's actually not a bad idea, bro.
Hey,
In Spain.
did you hear when they asked Dana what about a women's BMF belt?
That's when I decided to leave.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. You hear that,
Yeah,
Chris?
that's when I said bye to you and said bye to the missus, and I split up out of there. Because I didn't want to hear his response. Because all right, I'm gonna just keep it real. There is no way a women's title fight should be for a BMF belt. I don't think he got the women for it right now. I mean, what would you do? Wei Lee versus? Oh, I mean, I don't know, bro. The only BMF title bout you could have had for the women's for a women's is Nunez versus Cyborg. That already happened. So I don't know what else you're gonna do. It ain't a woman's BMF, man. It ain't. You can't have it. It's oxymoron. I'm gonna just say it. Just
Uh,
because the man's got a BMF, the women's need a BMF too. No,
yeah, right.
no. Let us have our BMF, man. Y'all stick with our regular title belts. Jeez.
So, anything else you want to add about that fight? What's next for Gaethje, and how do you feel about? I had a, I had a theory. I'm not sure if I shared this with you or the missus, but I was saying how I don't think the UFC wants to give Justin Gaethje the title fight, the actual title fight, and I can't really say I blame him because here's a guy. You were the number one contender, and you were saying how you wanted the title fight because you weren't going to be around for much longer. And so I feel like they look at that and say, so I don't know how many fights are on this contract, and it could just be all in my head. But I feel like as a promoter myself, if I'm looking at someone who may be retiring soon or feels like he doesn't have a lot more left in him, then I'm going to be kind of hesitant to give you a title shot. Because what if you win? The last thing I need you to do is hold up the division and retire with the belt.
Like GSP.
Yeah.
Um. Nah, I think to your point, they see him as a fan favorite, and they feel like they can market him without the belt, like giving him the BMF belt instead, and market him as a fan favorite. You feel me?
Yeah.
Same thing with Poirier. Poirier, I don't know how much longer he has, fighting
Yeah.
his career because he said the same thing too. He either want big money fights or that's pretty much it. You feel me?
Right.
So this is probably Poirier's last title fight right here. You know. Chris said, "While you at it, give us the women's Intercontinental Championship." NFC has the women's North American title. Yeah, and see, we're not talking about wrestling, but that don't even need to happen right now. You know, I don't know. I feel like a lot of times in sports in general, because we're doing this whole women's movement, whenever the men have something, the women want something too. You know, all women's Money in the Bank, women's this, women's that, women's Hell in the Cell, or women's War Games. And you just don't need to do women's this because you have a man's whatever. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to let the men have what we have, and y'all can just stay where y'all at. You got the women's title belt. That's it. You don't need to be enough belt for women's division. It don't need to happen, bro. You can't even have a 145 division because you don't have enough women to fulfill that division. And you're trying to start a whole other title belt. Get out of here with that. Stop.
Yeah, that was pretty fun listening to you shoot that down.
Hey, Chris said I'm cool. I'm cool with that since they took the women's tag title. You're gonna get that Man Talk Monday hate if you keep talking like that. Hey, it's true, Trevor. Man, these women they try to take everything that we got. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you already got a women's title belt. You don't need to do that. Bones Epic Rap. Well, y'all don't get me started.
It's too late. We already did, man. So basically, what you're saying is
No, bro. To answer your question though, uh, I think Gaethje. The thing is, he's fought so many big, high level fights that I would say, oh, give him Jalen Turner, but you can't give Justin Gaethje as Jalen Turner. You know what I'm saying? That's in
no.
my opinion. You know, so uh, I don't know, man. It's kind of so. First of all, it's kind of hard for us to say what he's going to do next because he's going to take a lot of time off because he went to the hospital after this fight. I'm sure he's in concussion protocol, and I'm sure that he's going to be out. Yeah, like I'm sure, like he's going to get that medical suspension. Is what I'm saying.
Right, right,
Um,
right.
so he's going to be out for a couple months. You know, so by the time he comes back, the division will be have moved a little bit. We'll have some more fights. You know, have happened or whatever. So, I mean, off the top of my head, I would say Dan Hooker, but we don't know what's going to be next with Dan Hooker and when he's going to fight again and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So
no.
with that being said, it's hard to say what's going to happen with Justin Gaethje because he's going to be out for 6 to 8 months probably at least.
Yeah, never thought I would see him get his light shut off like that.
Yeah,
His light shut off, and it's crazy because everybody said how after this fight, Max wasn't going to be the same.
yeah,
Everybody thought we was going to send Max to the slaughter, but here it is the other way around, and now we're talking about Gaethje's long-term health, and I hope everything is okay with that. But it was just the
Hey
exact
Chris,
opposite of what we expected.
I hope Justin Gaethje is in the hospital chilling with a bunch of bad bitches right now.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean,
uh,
I hope you know where he at. I hope he's good. So, since you
bro, I don't know if you mentioned it,
love,
but Matt's got 600K for that fight. I don't know if you mentioned it or not.
yeah, I mentioned it earlier, but since you just went on that epic rant, I'm gonna let you take this one away.
All right, so Wei Lee versus Young Sha Nine. I was hoping that this fight would go all five, and it did. But honestly, it shouldn't have went all five because Young Sha Nine, at the end of the first round, she was out. She passed out. She was out. I want to make that clear. She was unconscious. Wei Lee put her to sleep. When the bell rang and she let go of that hold, Young Sha Nine for like 4 seconds, she just kind of was stunned and she stood there and she was still. And then when she got up and the referee kind of assisted her to get up a little bit, she stumbled a little bit and had to be helped to her corner, you know. When she got to her corner, they were like, oh, we can wake her up. I forgot the cut man. I think it's Stitch. I'm not sure if it's not Stitch, but the black guy with
Tate,
the, huh?
Tate.
Tate, yeah. So basically, he was like, well, I could wake her up. So he put some smelling salt under her nose and then like jolted her back into consciousness, basically. With
No, they thought it was smelling salt, but it wasn't.
what was it?
He actually he was saying that there's something that you press under the nostrils to make oxygen flow through back to the brain.
Oh,
He
okay.
came in and explained it to the commentators.
So it was legal there.
Yeah, it was definitely legal.
All
And
right. Well,
that's just a good cut, man, knowing all the tricks of the trade. He
hey,
said
but
it so casually too. He said, "You want me to wake her up?"
yeah, hey, but I have no problem with the cut man doing what he did because that's his job. It's
Right.
more so the referee. Maybe the fight should have been stopped because she was unconscious. She was out. You know what I'm saying? But
She
I'm not
definitely
complaining because I wanted to go all 5 rounds and it did. So I was happy with that. But Young Sha Nun, she definitely came to fight, and it just shows the Asian toughness that she has. You know what I'm saying? Because even after she was out, she continued to fight competitively for 4 more rounds after this. You know what I'm saying? So
and
that was
she won 2 of them rounds.
yeah, she did, and it
She
was to
won
a
two of
point.
them rounds.
It was to a point where I'm like, oh, damn, she might get the belt. You know, she might take the belt from Wei Lee, but Wei Lee was able to use some takedowns and she was able to use her well-roundedness, and this is a pretty competitive fight. But the only problem is, uh, it followed the Gaethje and Holloway fight. That's the only problem, you know. So it made the fight not look as good as it was, but it really was a good fight though. And it was
It
pretty
definitely
competitive.
was. The back and forth. I feel like
Yeah,
Zhang Weili won the first two. Yan Xiaonan won the second two, and Zhang Weili won the fifth. That was
yeah.
definitely a really good scrap. Unfortunately, it came behind Gaethje and Holloway.
Hey, I'm hoping that eventually we can get a rematch in a year or two. According to Chris, he said this is well deserved, and it's pronounced John Wei Li versus Yan Xiaonan. And he said, "Oh yeah, that bitch went out. Biggest fight in Chinese history. Also, random thought: in 35 years on this earth, I never seen a commercial for Chinese food. Hey, this was the right time to do it, man. Because you know they was watching, you know. But yeah, that's all I got on this fight. I'm proud of Wei Li, Yang Sha9. The fact that she was out and continued to fight for 4 more rounds and won 2 of them, that was pretty impressive too. Uh, yeah, I had no issue with this fight. I like this fight. It's just it followed the Max and Gaethje fight, so you know,
Hey, what's more rare? A
what
Chinese food commercial or a Chinese funeral?
a Chinese funeral? A Chinese funeral is more rare. So for Wei Li, I'm not happy about it, but she got Tatiana Suarez, and obviously I'm not happy about it for my own biased reasons. Uh, Young Sha9, I think she should fight. I want anybody to fight Viana Gingerova. I want somebody to knock her out and put her to sleep. So that's what I'm going for.
You know what was impressive to me?
What?
Yan Xiaonan, she's definitely leveled up as far as being an overall fighter. The striking, it seems like she had the advantage in the striking. She got some pop that it's like I always forget she got it until I see her hit somebody. But I feel like her biggest deficiency was when she's on the ground, but not just on the ground, but on her back. Sometimes
Yes.
she get lost, and she look like you can tell she's thinking about her next move while trying to be safe at the same time. She don't have the confidence and fluidity to just make her moves. Now, keep in mind, Zhang Wei Li is very good on the ground and she's strong, but I feel like
Bro,
that's the biggest deficiency, and if she could show that up, she'll be back in a title fight sometime in the future.
she has improved on her ground game. Like, remember what Carlos Esparza did to her, and
Yeah,
now
that's
she
what I'm
yeah. So she has improved, and she's with Team Alpha Male. So I don't think this is the end for her. I feel like she can definitely rebound and you know come back even better and stronger.
Of course, of course.
I'm a huge fan of both of them, obviously though.
Yeah, I know. I think you just trash these women, man.
But I mean, even this don't deserve a BMF title belt. But these are two elite
Nah,
fighters.
I was just
What?
so you know what I will say about that though? If
What?
any fight deserves a BMF title bout, it's the I would say Zhang Weili is the female BMF just because of the fight with her
And
and
Joanna?
Joanna. That was some
Yeah,
gangster shit right there.
yeah, it was.
But
Now you got.
I agree with y'all. You don't have a lot of females that's I mean the
Like,
flyweight
look, but look, but look,
division
but look, but
is
look.
pretty.
But look, even like Andrade, I would say she's a BMF. You feel me?
Yeah, me too.
You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, that's why I'm a huge fan of fighters like Wei Li, Yang Sha9, and Andrade because they bring it. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, they may not knock you out every single fight, but you know they're finna bring it. And the way Jessica Andrade headhunts these women, and bro, like she gets tagged so much, and she don't give a damn. She's just gonna come in and just headhunt you. You feel me? Because she's already the shorter fighter in most of her fights, so she got that one path to victory. and like just the beating she put on Mackenzie Dern was impressive. I like seeing stuff like that.
Yeah, and the one she put on Lauren Murphy was extremely impressive. And Andrade, like I said, the only woman with victories in 3 different weight classes. So I feel like just off of that alone. Last and definitely not least, we have the main event of the evening. And I don't know. Yesterday I said the stare down might be just as intense as the fight. The stare down was pretty intense. We had Poatan Alex Pereira defending his light heavyweight championship against the man, former champion who never lost the belt, Jamal Sweet Dreams Hill. Just Jamal Hill's walkout, and he got into the octagon, but he didn't really get into the octagon. He stood at the door of the cage because he wanted to watch Poatan walk out. Poatan came out, and they were staring at each other from across the cage, and Poatan had he had that look in his eyes.
Bro, he got the best walkout. Like his plotting interest when he threw his setup and he's like plotting down the entrance way, and then
Yeah,
when he do that bow, he's bro, like oh man, he got the best interest, bro.
yeah, he does. And then I feel like the music fitted too, like that tribal music and whatnot.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
almost like you looking at him in the Brazilian rainforest and he hunting. And
I feel like I'm watching the movie Apocalypse though.
right? And he see his prey in the clearing in the octagon, and so he's taking a shot. So Alex Pereira, he started off like kind of slow. Jamal Hill was pretty aggressive. He caught him twice. The fight didn't last that long. It wasn't even 3 minutes long, but Jamal Hill definitely showed that he was not afraid of Poatan at all. He really did intend to go in there and just bang with him, strike it out, and see what happens. And we found out what happens. Yesterday, I was saying that Poatan don't really knock people dead at light heavyweight. I stand corrected. Because and the way he did it was just so smooth. Oh, did you see before the fight, Jamal Hill was telling him chama?
No,
Because that's something that Poatan been coining. That's something that him and his coaches always said, meaning let's go in Portuguese. So Jamal Hill was telling him that. But it was crazy how it's almost like he was a cat playing with a mouse and you didn't realize it until he showed you that that's what was going on.
yeah.
Because Jamal Hill hit him in the cup and then the ref was finna come say something and he kind of like pushed the referee out of the way. Like, nah, like,
bro, that's the first time in not just UFC history, but MMA history. I'm talking about from doing like these local setups at these local fight venues and stuff like that, watching Strike Force, Pride, UFC, anything. But that's the first time I ever seen somebody take a growing shot and just literally take their hands rough and like, no, get out the way. You feel me?
and
I never
when
seen
the
that
grunt
before.
shot, it's like he brushed it off his cup. You saw that?
Yes, bro.
He brushed it
Crazy.
off his cup. Never took his eyes off Jamal Hill. But it's like he sensed the referee coming in and he just put his hand out like, nah, like damn near pushed him away. Like, nah, I got this. And then he just came in with that mean, like, he set it up. He threw like 2 feints. And then it was like a uppercut / hook. It was a weird angle. And when you see that he didn't catch him 100% clean and he knocked him dead, like he almost fell back on his leg. His eyes rolled in the back of his head, and it looked like his tongue was coming out of his mouth. It's like, wow, it was crazy. That was such a. I never saw Jamal Hill lose a stand-up battle, and that's what I was saying. And I felt like he had the power to knock out Poatan. Everything was identical as far as the height, the reach, the weight. Only thing is, Poatan is like 4 years older, but I feel like he was out after that, but he didn't take the Jalen Turner approach. He went and got the finish as he should, and still.
Yeah. Chris said, you ever see a man get kicked in the groin and tell the ref to not stop and take a break just to take his soul with his left right hook in the chin? Also, Alex is everything the UFC wanted comes out Jemayev to be by now. Alex also had a broken pinky toe coming into the fight. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Bro,
saw him messing with it after the fight, and then I think he broke his toe with one of them kicks, but come to find out, it was a few weeks before the fight.
yeah. Man, Poetone, like, I want everybody who's an MMA fan to just bask in his glory and just enjoy what we're watching right now. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not often that you can get a fighter to come into the UFC with only 4 fights, in his experience, and then take out one of the middleweight goats, Adesanya. You know what I'm saying? Then he beat Jan Blachowicz, and then he beat Yuri, knocked him out, knocked out Jamal Hill. Like, this is insane, bro. Like, the run that he's on right now is epic, and it was just nasty, man. The way, like you said, I never seen Jamal Hill lose a stand up battle. The one loss that he did have was to Paul Craig, where he got his arm broken. This was very impressive, and he didn't catch him clean. Like, he only caught him with like the bottom part of his fist, and he still knocked his eyes in the back of his head. I would like to see
Jamal Hill
Poetone.
said, "Roll out."
I don't know if I want to see him fight in Brazil in 3 weeks. I feel like that's a little bit too much. You feel me? Especially with a broken pinky toe. I want to see him fight Ankalaev next, and I hope he puts his lights out. Like, I want him to knock him clean out. I want him to knock him out in the middle, out of the light heavyweight division, and just put him out completely. And then I feel like I don't remember who I said. I said for the next title shot, I feel like you got Anthony Smith coming up with a fight, but I feel like he's kind of done. Jamal Hill, I don't know where he goes from here. I feel like he should definitely take some time off a little bit and completely heal, because we don't know how much his Achilles actually healed. I feel like he kind of rushed back into this fight. It was only 8 months, something like that. So, Yuri Prochazka. I feel like Yuri Prochazka should fight Khalil Roundtree, and the winner of that should get the next title shot. As far as Jamal Hill, I feel like he can fight Rakic, Nikita Krylov. You know what I'm saying?
Where
Uzdemir,
is
whoever.
Krylov anyway?
I don't know.
Hey, isn't it impressive that in just 7 or 8 UFC fights, Poeton is already a 2-weight class champion?
Bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, bro, you would never see this rise again. You would never see this again.
I mean, we said that with Conor.
Yeah, but Conor didn't do it in as few fights as he did, though.
True.
Conor was in ring of combat and made a name for himself in ring of combat, and then came to the UFC. You know what I'm saying?
That's my point. Like, we say we'll never see something, and then as the sport evolves and fighters get better, somebody comes along. He's a generational talent for sure, but somebody comes along in every generation and does something that you thought you would never see, which is what makes them great. And then it's just a matter of time before somebody tops that.
Hey, for what it's worth, I don't know how much stock everybody puts into this, but Poeton did break Francis Ngannou's power punch record on the little machine or whatever. So I don't know how much stock people put into that kind of stuff, but
it's I thought it was funny that I don't know, I never seen Jamal Hill put out like that. I
Chris
thought it was funny. So I was saying I thought it was funny when he woke up. It's like he was asking what happened, and they was telling him, and he was like almost like he didn't want to believe it.
Yeah, he was in denial, bro.
Once it settled in, he was so hot. I felt bad for him because I do like Jamal Hill, but back to Poeton, if you look at his record, how many former champions is that? You got Adesanya,
Blachowicz,
Blachowicz, you got Yuri,
Sean Strickland,
Hill, and you got Sean Strickland.
Yeah.
So you can't say he had it easy.
Chris said Fulton is an animal. All former champions. He wants to fight at UFC 301 at heavyweight. That will instantly make that card better. I want to see a perform in Brazil with that crowd. Would be a special moment. And Alex is a scary dude and an intimidating human being.
Hey, I feel like I don't want to see him fight at heavyweight.
No, me either. Hell no,
It's sorry
bro.
too much going
What,
on.
what, what is it about the 205 division, bro? That don't nobody want to like hold that belt now? You feel me?
I don't know. I feel like John Jones was like the last person that really gave that. I mean, division some validity. I feel like it's starting to open up now. Peloton having that belt is a really good thing. It's still a couple matchups there for him. I don't want to see him move on yet. I feel like him and Khalil Roundtree eventually probably will happen because he's been
Yeah.
looking impressive lately. He's been flying under the radar too.
Yeah.
So, anything else you want to add about this card? What's your final thoughts?
Bro, my final thoughts is KO of the year so far is got to be Matt Holloway. I felt like sub of the night should have went to Davidson Figueiredo. And I feel like fight of the night for me was Yuri versus Alexander Rakic. And I feel like that was more of a fight of the night than the BMF title because that was more back and forth. Like Yuri had to come back and win that fight. You know what I'm saying? Gaethje kind of just got thrashed for 5 rounds. So that's my final thoughts on that one.
Overall, I would definitely say this card over delivered. I'm not gonna say over delivered because the expectations was pretty damn high. So I'm gonna just say this card was everything I thought it was gonna be and more. I'm probably gonna watch it 2 more times before this week is over with.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely watch it again today when we get off of this podcast.
And takeaways: Holloway is still that guy. Gaethje is tough as nails. Prohashka is still that guy. Poatan is still that guy. And Davison Figueiredo is still that guy.
Yeah.
This is 301. I'm not going to lie. Some of the prelims look pretty cool, but actually some of the prelims are pretty decent.
This is the first fight. Well, no, it's not the first fight, but I'm looking forward to Ismail Bonfim versus Vince Patel. That's gonna be pretty good.
You remember Alessandro Costa?
You look real familiar, bro. Like I know.
Alessandro Costa is he fought at Yuri versus Poatan.
Okay.
All right, so you know Diego Lopez is on that card. And
Yeah.
this is the teammate that stepped in to on a short notice fight to fight Steve Ertag.
Oh, okay.
And Kevin Borjas, he was on that card too. He actually broke a record for body shots in the flyweight division on his debut.
All right.
Overall, I feel like when you had 299 and then you had 300, I'm not expecting much from the next card. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's almost like it sucks
Hey, bro.
compared to 300.
Hey, bro. This guy right here, I can't pronounce his name. From Kazakhstan. He's from the same place I believe as Valentina Shevchenko. I think, but he's pretty good too. Though I remember seeing him fight before.
Elvis Brenner looked creepy.
Yeah, he do. I didn't even know Carolina Kowalkiewicz was still fighting, but hopefully she rules her fight.
Yeah,
Jack Shore.
This is one of those cards that looking at the main card.
Hey, he's supposed to be pretty good too. Cal Barolao.
Yeah, Borralo, yeah, he is pretty good. Paul Craig could use a W.
Anthony Smith is coming into this fight full of piss and vinegar because he said he don't like the fact that all these young fighters they get a win and they call him out. You feel me?
Yeah,
so
he's easy.
Yeah, so he's coming to prove that he's still Lionheart. Michelle Pereira, he's always entertaining to watch.
Jonathan Martinez and Jose Aldo. See, to me, that just don't scream co-main event.
Nah.
And then Pantoja versus Urseg, I guess. But I mean, it's not like a big. People are now gonna know who Urseg is, and usually when you got somebody fighting for the belt, you don't want him to be just someone that only the hardcores recognize. You would like for it to be someone that's even a casual fan has heard of him. You get what I'm saying? So
Yes.
that next card is a little lackluster in my opinion. They wanted this Jamal Hill fight on that card, but it didn't happen that way. And no matter what, the UFC gonna be all right. Obviously, I feel like with a night like last night, I feel like at that point, like damn, like let them have a.
Oh damn, bro! So we get a week off from UFC fights, and then we can come back with Matheus Nicolau versus Perez.
Yeah, Matheus Nicolau was supposed to fight Manel Cape. Manel Cape pulled out.
Yeah.
I think they should cut Manel Cape. He can't get his weight right.
Hey, bro. So no recency bias. I think this is the best card of the year.
Absolutely. I feel like this card is comparable to 295 last year.
Yeah.
So
Oh, bro. Hey, I'm gonna let you do this one. So what did they announce for UFC 302 last night?
Well, last night for UFC 302, they announced that Islam Makhachev will be fighting Dustin Poirier for the lightweight championship.
And what's the co-main event?
I don't remember.
Sean Strickland versus Boachina, Paulo Costa, 5 round.
That's gonna be fun.
And then you got Whitaker versus Chimaev. That's gonna be pretty good too. I'm looking forward to that.
What else did they announce?
UFC 303. Let's go! My boy Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler, 5 round fight for the welterweight, or not for the welterweight though, but in the welterweight division. I'm excited for that one.
Trevor said all those still fights. He's actually coming out of retirement. I feel like they threw that fight together because they know that this card isn't really
got no names on it, bro. You got no star power.
Yeah, they ain't got no star power when it comes to on paper. And Paul Tom was supposed to be the main event, but since they had to use him for 300, they got Aldo to come back because they know they can sell out Rio.
I got a question. I've been seeing Bilal Muhammad everywhere, bro. On every podcast, every UFC event, I've been seeing him everywhere, except for like when I go outside. They go, you know what I'm saying? But when is he gonna fight my boy Leon Edwards, man? When is that fight gonna happen?
You know where you haven't seen him?
I haven't seen him in the octagon.
You haven't seen him in the title fight.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it though.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think they're gonna do that in London.
All right.
Manchester, when they go to Manchester. I hope so. I just want him to get it out the way, man. Get that man a shot and let it be what it's gonna be, and we can move on.
Yeah.
So UFC 301 is in Brazil, and it is
Steve Versace versus Alejandro Pantoja.
I'm trying to see his date on that. May 4th. Saturday, May 4th. So we might be coming at y'all May 3rd, or we might be coming at y'all May 4th early in the morning. We'll work out the logistics. But please hit the like, subscribe, share. If you get a chance to go back and rewatch this event from last night, please do so. A lot of big moments. Out of 13 fights, I would say 10 of those fights a casual fan could just watch and really enjoy. If you're one of those people who are not too big on the grappling, then there's probably 2 fights in there that's probably not going to be for you. But even with those 2 fights, one of them ended in the finish. But other than that, it was an all-around great night. Card was a 12 out of 10. And UFC don't owe me shit.
Ha! Let's go. Yeah, this was a very exciting night, man. Like I was looking forward to this fight so long. And it really lived up to expectations. We got KO of the year. My boy Yuri came through with a knockout. You know, he got the women's bout. That was pretty cool. Went on 5 rounds. I go for it. That was pretty good. And the main event delivered too. So I was pretty happy about that. So yeah, man. Overall, this is the card of the year so far, and also produced knockout of the year. So I got no complaints. And also, be sure to tune in to Man Talk Monday, returning tomorrow at 5:45. Looking forward to that too.
All right, so like, subscribe, share. Thanks for tuning in. And
hey, shout out to Chris, who appreciate you chiming in, Chris.
Yes, sir, definitely.
All right, peace.
Peace.
If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, and the best is blessed, baby.
All right, gentlemen, we've been over the rules. Protect yourself at all times. Follow my instructions. Keep it clean. Touch gloves if you wish. Let's do it.
Straight Talk MMA, hosted by Brotherz, the MMA Brotherz.